Human resources. The department evokes a mix of emotions, from relief to apprehension. Many employees see HR as a confidant, a place to seek advice and support. However, this perception often clashes with the reality of HR's primary function, safeguarding the organization's interests. This duality creates a breeding ground for misconceptions and mistrust. One common misconception is that HR exists solely for employee well-being. While employee satisfaction contributes to a healthy work environment, HR's ultimate responsibility lies in aligning employee performance with organizational goals. This means that decisions, even those directly impacting employees, are often made with the company's bottom line in mind. Another misconception is the neutrality of HR professionals. While striving for fairness, HR personnel are not immune to biases. Their decisions can be influenced by organizational culture, leadership directives, and even personal beliefs. This inherent conflict of interest is crucial for both job seekers and employees to understand. Navigating the complexities of HR requires recognizing its limitations and approaching interactions with a healthy dose of realism. HR departments act as a bridge between employees and the organization. They are tasked with maintaining a delicate balance, ensuring employee satisfaction while simultaneously protecting the company's interests. This often places HR in a precarious position where decisions may seem contradictory or even unfair to one party. It is essential to remember that HR's primary allegiance lies with the organization. Their role is to implement policies and practices that support the company's strategic objectives. This means that when faced with a conflict between employee needs and organizational goals, the latter will often take precedence. For instance, HR may advocate for employee development programs, but only within the budget allocated by leadership. Similarly, they may mediate conflicts between employees and managers, but their ultimate goal is to find a resolution that minimizes disruption to the workflow and aligns with company policies. Understanding this inherent bias is crucial for managing expectations. While HR can be a valuable resource for employees, it is important to remember that they are not an independent advocate. Their decisions are ultimately driven by the organization's best interests. One of the most common criticisms leveled against HR departments is their lack of transparency. From hiring decisions to performance evaluations, the rationale behind HR's actions often remains shrouded in secrecy. This opacity can breed suspicion and distrust among employees, who are left to speculate about the fairness and objectivity of HR processes. The lack of transparency stems from various factors, including legal concerns, company policies, and a desire to avoid conflict. HR professionals may be hesitant to disclose specific details about hiring decisions to avoid legal challenges or to protect the privacy of other candidates. Similarly, they may be reluctant to share detailed feedback from performance reviews to avoid confrontations or potential lawsuits. However, this lack of transparency can be detrimental to employee morale and engagement. When employees feel that decisions are being made arbitrarily or without justification, it can lead to a sense of powerlessness and disenfranchisement. This in turn can result in decreased motivation, productivity, and loyalty to the organization. The hiring process is often touted as a meritocratic system, where the most qualified candidate is selected based on their skills and experience. However, the reality is far more complex. Unconscious bias, a pervasive issue in all aspects of society, can seep into the hiring process, influencing decisions and perpetuating inequalities. HR professionals, despite their best intentions, are not immune to these biases. They may unknowingly favor candidates who remind them of themselves, come from similar backgrounds, or fit a preconceived notion of the ideal employee. This can lead to a lack of diversity and inclusion within organizations, as qualified candidates from underrepresented groups are overlooked or dismissed. Even seemingly objective hiring practices, like resume screenings and standardized interviews, can be laden with bias. For example, A hiring manager might subconsciously associate certain names with specific racial or ethnic groups, leading to discrimination even before meeting a candidate. Similarly, interview questions that rely on subjective interpretations of culture fit can disadvantage candidates who don't conform to the dominant group's norms. Decoding performance reviews. Performance reviews are often presented as objective assessments of an employee's contributions. However, these evaluations are often subjective and influenced by many factors. This can create frustration among employees who feel their performance is not accurately reflected. Subjectivity in the process is a primary challenge. Managers evaluate based on vague criteria like communication skills. These assessments can be influenced by personal biases and office politics. Section 6. Smoke and mirrors. The art of the job description. Job descriptions are a critical first point of contact between potential employees and an organization. They should provide a clear representation of the role, responsibilities, and required qualifications. However, they are often crafted to attract specific candidates, masking the true nature of the work. Inflated job titles can attract more applicants but lead to unrealistic expectations. This can result in disappointment for those hired. Vague language and buzzwords obscure the true nature of the work. Phrases like fast-paced environment and wear many hats offer little concrete information. Section 7. Leveling the playing field. Tips for job seekers. Navigating the often opaque world of HR requires a combination of awareness, preparation, and a healthy dose of skepticism. By understanding the motivations and limitations of HR practices, job seekers can approach the process with greater confidence and increase their chances of success. First and foremost, job seekers should conduct thorough research on potential employers, going beyond the carefully curated image presented on company websites and social media. Explore employee review platforms like Glassdoor to gain insights into the company culture, management styles, and employee experiences. Look for red flags like consistently low ratings for work-life balance or negative comments about the HR department itself. When interacting with HR professionals, approach conversations with a balance of openness and discernment. While it's important to be authentic and enthusiastic, remember that HR representatives are ultimately looking out for the company's best interests. Don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions about the role, the team dynamics, and the company's values to ensure alignment with your own career goals and work style. Section 8. Empowering employees. A call for transparency. Creating a more equitable and transparent workplace requires a collective effort from both HR departments and employees. HR needs to move away from its image as a gatekeeper and embrace a more collaborative and transparent approach. Foster open communication where employees feel comfortable voicing concerns and providing feedback. Implement transparent performance evaluation systems that minimize bias. Mandate unconscious bias training for all employees. Employees should be proactive in advocating for their rights and seeking clarification on HR policies. Section 9. A future of fairness. Reimagining HR's role. The traditional role of HR is at a crossroads, as organizations grapple with evolving workplace dynamics and a growing emphasis on diversity and inclusion. HR departments have the opportunity to redefine their purpose and become true champions of fairness and equity. This requires a fundamental shift in mindset, from a focus on protecting the organization to a more holistic approach that prioritizes the well-being and development of all employees. By embracing transparency, promoting open dialogue, and actively addressing biases within their own practices, HR can contribute to creating a more just and equitable workplace for everyone. The future of HR lies in its ability to evolve from a department often perceived as shrouded in secrecy to one that operates with transparency, empathy, and a genuine commitment to creating a work environment where all employees feel valued, respected, and empowered to thrive.